break for your bum, we're going to roll out the bum in all the ways. So it's actually one ball at a time. So I'll put one ball down, back up so you can see me, and I'm going to, for starters, sort of be on my side bum. So for some people, this isn't particularly comfortable. I'm okay with it. You could roll out your side bum though against a wall, just so you know. This also requires some wrist strength and some arm strength. So if you're not happy doing this, you can just find your side bum at the wall. So a corner of a wall is a great place to be. So we all know how to roll out the middle of our bum, but the side bum deserves some attention too, because we're going to work it. Because this is the area where the bum and the hips sort of become a merged unit. But the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to, one more time, roll out the front pocket. So that's right in here. And my suggestion is that you can just do it with a ball, using some pressure from your hands. You don't need, or you can scrape and wiggle back and forth. So we don't need to be grabbing a corner of a wall and making this really difficult for ourselves. Just trying to get some tissue massage going so that the blood is flowing. Yeah. Okay, so we've really sort of done a wake-up call, and I'm going to put these guys down, and it's really simple and fairly traditional, but it's great work for the hip. We come onto our hands and knees. We're going to try to stay in a neutral spine. So the first thing, you know me, I like to make sure I understand where my shoulder blades are. Get them nice and firm and strong on my back. Grab little clutch purses so I'm externally rotating my elbow pits so they face forward. Grabbing clutch purses, maybe I need to adjust my knees so I'm in an alignment where I feel like I can engage there. And then I'm going to do the regular old fire hydrant. So I'm just coming up. And I'm trying only to move my femur in the hip socket. This can be another great time to put a block on your back. You can see that I'm just testing it and reining myself in. And then I'll do the other side. So making sure I don't actually open my hip up. Another place I could touch is here and make sure that my hip points both face down. And you can, of course, have your hands on a bench so you're not all the way down on your knees. The next thing that we're going to do, and please take note, I'm really putting boundaries on what I do for this move. So I've got a flexed foot, and I'm going to try to use my hamstring. So how about this? Let's scratch our hamstring in the back. Make sure we know what it is we're trying to activate along with our glutes. And then I'm not going to do that. So again, I'm going to make sure that I've got my armpits of power, that I'm aware of my low back, and I'm using that fiery place that I just scratched and trying to kick my heel to the ceiling. Notice not much is happening, and that's okay because I love my low back and I've heard it one too many times. So I'm not going to let that happen, and I'm shaking. So it doesn't matter what it looks like. This is actually strengthening my hip. And again, it doesn't matter how many times you do it. It's really all about what you feel. And feel like you're working it, and then you can come back and do another set. So I kind of like going to a point where you know you've worked it, you've not overworked it, and you can come back and do it again. So I've got my armpits of power, I scratch the back of my leg, And I'm lifting that part that I scratched without changing my pelvis. Exhale really helps me. And I come back down. So I'm going to scratch again. Prepare myself, armpits of power. Get my flexed heel. Raising the back of my leg. And it might even be smaller the next time because you're fatigued and your low back wants to help you out. Your ribs want to flare and you're trying to keep it all together. And sometimes we have to rest our wrist. Come back, armpits of power are set. Get into position. And I didn't scratch that one, but it's pretty much alive and I know where it is. If I felt like I wasn't aware of it at this point, then I'd scratch it again. And coming back down. And you are done.